Some guys are willing to throw away like a decade-long friendship just to hook up once. So I know we talk about how a lot of men are like pretending to be your friend when they really just want to sleep with you. But I want to talk about men who I honestly do not think ever even thought about sleeping with me. I'm like not even their type. There was never any chemistry between us. And just one night, randomly, like if I came back in town, after not seeing them for years and I'm supposed to crash on their couch, the way climbers do. And then boom, ruin the friendship. A decade-old friendship. So let me give you a few examples because there's more than one. So if you actually want to read more about this story, I wrote about it for the Huffington Post, The Truth About How Men Behave When You're a Female Solo Traveler. Google Melanie Hamlet HuffPost, it'll come up. So in that story, I'm actually talking about just traveling around solo and how I like forked a clown and all kinds of crazy stuff because that's me. But there's a couple of examples in there of friends. Now, so for context, I'm a climber and I worked I'm an outdoorsy person. I worked in the outdoor adventure industry for a good chunk of my 20s. In that industry, it's totally normal to sleep right next to your coworkers on a regular basis. And as a climber, it's pretty normal to sleep and just be in really intimate spaces with the opposite sex, with your friends, with, guys that you would never hook up with. And you are sleeping right next to each other and nothing ever happens. Especially if you're like a tomboy like me who puts off major, like, leave me the F alone. I'm your bro. I was a cool girl, right? That's how I wanted to be picked, was I was cool. I was the friend of all these guys, but I was like almost never hooking up with them. And so because the outdoor world is so intimate, it's just this understanding that like it's not schmegsual unless it explicitly is, right? And I let my guard down. So one of my climbing friends, him and I had been buddies. We've been climbing for a long time. He'd always tell me like about his girlfriend stuff, his like we would talk about relationships. Like he has never hit on me a day in my life. Honestly, I didn't even think he was attracted to me. But men are opportunists, right? And a lot of them lack discipline and they're so selfish and they think about what they want right now instead of like short-term rewards versus long-term goals, right? I want to do this, so I'm going to do this right now. So I went back to New Mexico for a wedding and I ended up meeting up with him because he's a good buddy of mine. And we were chatting. I think maybe we went climbing too. We went climbing that day. And then we went and got food. And then like, I don't know. Whenever I go back to New Mexico, I have so many friends there. I just like sleep in people's backyards. I love sleeping outside under the stars. I sleep in their extra trailers. Like New Mexico is just like a very unique place like that. I've lived in trailers. I lived in my truck. I can sleep just about anywhere, y'all. So at that, he was like, "Where are you staying tonight?" I was like, "I don't know. Whatever. Can I throw my sleeping bag in your backyard?" And he was like, "Sure." So that was the plan. I've done that many times before. I mean, for those of y'all who are not in this world, this may sound very bizarre, but it's totally normal. I have slept in so many men's couches and in their backyards and nothing ever happened most of the time. But I went back and we ended up talking and then we were in his like little like trailer. And the next thing I know, he's like looking at me weird and I was like, "Oh wait, what's happening here?" And he starts massaging my foot and I was like, now mind you, I was a corny little bird, but I also had been celibate for quite a while. I didn't sleep with anyone the whole time I lived in New York City except for right before I moved. So I was visiting from New York. I didn't date anybody. I only hooked up with dudes when I was on vacation. So in my mind I was like, oh wait, okay, we're hooking up now. Well, we don't even live in the same town. Like, I guess this is fine. And it actually was like in the moment, it ended up being kind of magical because I wasn't used to sleeping with men that I actually cared about. That's probably the first time I slept with a man I actually cared about. Yeah, pretty much. And this was my friend, my buddy, my climbing partner. And I actually came a little bit close to Oing because, again, I don't know if y'all know this, I didn't have a real O until I was like 36. So, of course, the next morning, I'm all like, kind of like, oh my God, am I in love with him? You know what I mean? Because this is like a relationship, a friendship, a long-lasting, a long-term friendship that has now turned schmegsual. And the next morning, God, I can't believe I wasn't more mad about this. He was like, so actually I already have plans with my girlfriend today. I didn't really know last night was going to happen. Are you cool if I like still go and hang out with her? And I'm like, he had told me that he was kind of dating somebody, but I didn't realize he was in a committed relationship. So I've just cheated with this man. So now I feel bad about myself. And then he basically asks my permission so that he can blow me off and go hang out with this girlfriend that I didn't know was a girlfriend, so that he can keep his plans. Like, what am I supposed to say? No, you have to hang out with me because we just slept together. Of course I was like, and I'm again the cool girl, so I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. Y'all, I was immediately attached to this man. And my heart was broken because he basically had to tell me several times that he's seeing someone, and you know, that was really special, but that was just one time. And that ended our friendship. Just like that. God, I hate that show. Just like that, though. Just like that. One night, he's got a girlfriend, but his old friend, his old climbing buddy, his old, you know, I thought we were like brother, sister. I never even looked at him in that way until he looked at me in that way. And then I was like, oh, are we looking at each other this way? You know? And then I've got the guilt of being like the other woman who's hung up on this guy that I cared a lot about. And back then, especially, once I slept with a dude, if I really cared about them, there's no going back. We're not friends anymore, buddy. So yeah, we haven't talked since. This really important friendship. Done. And then another guy, another friend of mine, he'd been a coworker. I was passing through town, the same town, on another trip, and I was going to sleep on his couch, and I did sleep on his couch. But just before he went to bed, he was like, by the way, like, you know, you can stay in my room if you want. And I was like, no, I'm good out here. But the fact that he even asked me to sleep in his bedroom ruined that friendship. And that was like a friendship of many years. So yeah, a lot of guys do intentionally become friends with women so that they can sleep with you. And then a lot of guys, they don't do that. They don't even see you that way. And then one day they're just like, yeah, I'm bored. Well, she's here. Why not? Why not throw away all of our trust together? Why not throw away this friendship? Why not? I want some brown chicken, brown cow. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's do this. God, they wonder why we don't trust any of them, especially the nice guys.